Hi everyone, a very good evening to all. I think I've been given a tough job. Are we the last panel today? So please understand, boys, men, gentlemen, you are the guys standing between the bar and this session, right? So yeah, without much ado, I think we have a long, interesting panel, and we have a lot of great personalities over here. And to my mind, they are great, experienced powerhouses in each of their domains. Uh, um, what I'll do is I'll throw some light. What's the topic we're discussing today? The topic we have been given is innovating lifestyle and social destination for a customer first age. It's a well thought topic and it's too deep if I have to really look at it. And we had a interesting pre panel discussion and there was some great ideas. What I'll do is I'll quickly start without in any order. Why don't I go across to Prasad? Why don't we start with you? What do you think are the new age malls? Are they really innovating to be a social destination? And can you give us some examples?
Sure, Rohit. So I think when we use the word new age malls, the first thing that comes into everybody's mind is the fact that malls earlier were just transactional places, right? They were supposed to be doing transactions, consumption, that's pretty much it. I think in the evolving omni-channel and D2C brands and the online space that we spoke about, I think these have to become more or less social destinations, right? And how they're slowly evolving and getting into becoming one. Some of the malls, we started something called the Laughter Club, right? It's very difficult to convince the developer saying the fact that I'm going to take up a prime space in your property with not the same realization that perhaps the developer would get for doing an F&B brand or something else. But that laughter store or the amphitheater or the I mean, just a normal, whatever we can do. Those things are the big factors, right? I think malls have to play a larger role than just becoming a transactional place. It has to become a social place. It has to become the third place beyond work and home. And that's the larger one, right? Even some of the malls that we're doing, we are doing a lot of interest-based events, whether it's marathon, whether it's cyclothon, whether it's skateboarding, whether it's chess, right? And not necessarily I'm doing those events because those guys will come and shop at the athleisure brands. No, that is not the primary objective in the first place. The primary objective is just to set up the tone and make that person come in for that particular interest.
Okay. Ashish leads our city mall. What Prasad just mentioned was on more experiential and execution point of view. But can you throw some lights? Are you seeing the changes in the architectural design bit as well?
So we've renovated our city and we're seeing that change. But see, like what Prasad said, it's transaction. But beyond transactions are emotions. What keeps us separate from online and is the emotion. You can shop online, but when you come to the mall, is when you experience the smell, the sound. You walk next to a coffee chain, and that smell is very different. So online is all about transaction. Offline is all about experience. That is what we are aiming to do it in the new generation malls. In the old generation malls, there were spaces, but now there are dedicated spaces being made. Like we were just discussing the mall which recently launched in Bangalore, the amount of space which they've created, that is where we are going to do. So for the old malls, we will try and relocate, like what he said, the comedy club, we'll keep doing that. But end of the day, when we are making malls for the future, we will have to look at experience. Experience is going to be the differentiator.
Okay, interesting.
And just to add to that, Rohit, what Sir just said, I think the new age malls are very cognizant of that fact, right? Beyond open spaces, they are coming up with amphitheater. Decathlon keeps on asking for space which is to do with the sports, right? Because they want to engage. I think malls have understood the nuance of it. I think more or less everybody is adopting to that format. So the new age malls are
Okay. So that's an interesting one. Akash and Ashish, I would like to, because you also take care of business development, how serious this is. Are we developers ready to give away prime revenue generating square feet for experience? That's my first question. And second question is, when you really look out for a land, uh, does consumer experience also is in the mind of promoter, or is only profitability?
It's a good question and I guess a tricky one. But to answer your first question, definitely we want to create experiences. And if we want to create experiences, we have to compromise on the real estate. But however, we work accordingly that we don't give the ground or first floor, like premium spaces for these open thing, which gives us less revenues. But yes, the upper floors where like an amphitheater or a laugh club kind of a concept they can easily go up, because these are crowd pullers, and consumers are very well, they are comfortable in going upper floors to experience these kind of concepts. So yes, in upper floors, we have carved out these kind of spaces wherein they can be a laugh club, they can be an auditorium, they can be a large entertainment zones with triple height or double height kind of sense. So yes, we had started doing it earlier. I think we haven't seen any mall long back, like a decade old, wherein we used to do all these things, but moving ahead with times, yes, we all developers are doing it. To answer your second question, first is the location. Definitely, when we primarily look for a land parcel to build a commercial project or a mixed-use development, we definitely look towards the location, that where exactly it is, what is the demographic, what's the per capita income there, what is the spending capacity. So because these things helps us to identify and position our property accordingly. Because there are a lot of properties which has gone wrong on positioning of the mall, wherein they haven't taken these things into consideration. So definitely, and we also, nowadays we have started discussing these pointers with the retailers as well, for whom we are making this space. So before buying a land, we definitely consult a particular or few retailers or F&B players, that how this particular area is benefiting to you. Are you looking your expansion for that zone or not? So these are few factors definitely we look forward to, and later on definitely consumer experience comes the best part. But first we look towards these points.
Okay, so consumer experience comes, but it's the later part.
Exactly.
Ashish, because you also take care of business development, what's your views on this one?
See, I feel mall developer should always accept the new age customer, right? And then what I see is now, so I'm doing a leasing of a mall in Dehradun. In a land parcel of 7.5 acres, I'm making only 6 lakh square feet mall. And the entire ground area is I'm going to create for a experience, be it amphitheater, laughter club, or a pet friendly creche shop is what we're doing outside the mall. So all these experiences is important, and you need to create spaces for people to put on the Instagram stories also. You have to create Instagrammable walls or something like that. Gone are those days when, so nowadays when you see every 3-4 years, you see a generation change. Millennials are also oldies now. There's a next generation which is coming up. So probably, yes, every 3-4 years we have to, as a leasing person, I have to be, active in terms of churning, number one. Second, of course, when the mall is operational, operational teams need to figure out how we can, bring in the customers. Idea is to get the rental from the retailers for 9 years, not for just 1 or 2 years.
Okay, great. I think from business and leasing, I think we have Manoj from Forum. We can throw some lights on operations. Manoj, recently your group have opened some great assets. We've been hearing a lot of stories. I want to check with you, all hearts to hearts, that how do you maintain a right balance in operations and consumer experience? And have there been some kind of a visible difference what operations have, within the mall operations have gone through?
Uh, so first of all, since we are talking about mall being a social place, it's no more a transactional space, and we're talking about new age customer. So what does a new age customer wants from a mall? So see, we have all been consuming products. We are buying from the mall and we're consuming it. But I believe the new age customer, he wants to have some kind of experience attached to that product consumption. So that will only happen when you have a lot of spaces in the mall to create those experiences within the mall. So I'll be happy to share that in a mall which is recently opened. See, over the experience of the last 2 decades, we have realized that whenever you do an event in a mall, in an atrium, we used to always get complaints from retailers. So if you don't do it, they say you're not doing anything. But so we've realized there is a noise, there is the customers are getting disturbed. So what we've done, at the design level itself, we created a full-fledged auditorium in the new mall, which is open in South Bangalore. It's a 1,000-seater auditorium. So all our event has shifted there. So the experience is being created there. All the laughter clubs, whatever we discussed, all happening there for the last 8-9 months. We've already done about 50+ events there, and more about 80 shows are already booked there. So that is one place. It also has got a banquet hall, an amphitheater on top. So we can do about almost 8 events at the same time in the mall. So we cannot compromise. So let's say we also do a lot of collaborative events. So let's say we're doing something with cosmetic category, right? So there's some zone is created in one part of the mall. Central atrium is given to a decor. The other side can be given to something else. And same time, I'm doing a laughter show in the auditorium. So you go on a weekend, you'll see about 5 or 6 engagements happening live at the same time. So now coming back to the operation side. So challenge for us, an ops guy, is what kind of experience you're giving to the consumer when it's on a weekday, when you're getting about 20,000 footfall. And when you're getting a 1 lakh footfall or 1.25 lakh footfall in a day, your experience in the mall should not be deteriorate. That's the biggest challenge. We take it up. So whatever customer is coming on a weekday or a weekend, he should have a similar kind of experience. Certain crowd, chaos, yes, we cannot avoid. But somehow with our experience, let's say whether it is parking, whether it is crowding in the lift, crowding in the food court, there are no seats available. So we have tailor-made solutions for each issues to solve that. Experience is not compromised even on a big weekend.
So good. I think operations is also innovating,
Yes.
right? That's what you're trying to say. I think you also touch upon on a very critical point, car parking, and we have a gentleman over here who's expert in that. Bharath, why don't you throw some light car parking solutions which your company take care of? And to my mind, it is the first touch point when a consumer visit a mall. Large consumer base comes to the car parking.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Rohit. So, yes, as it comes to shopping centers, so the next is all about parking, right? So, firstly, we'll have to adapt this into our mindset that parking is a part of mobility, like how transportation and feasibility towards the mall, how you easily transit. So, also parking as well plays a very important role. It's the first and the last impression of a mall that comes under. Right? So as an AK today, we want to watch Rajnikant's Jailer movie, and we go in the entrance and we feel like a jail. We can't feel like a jail, right? So it has to be an ease of parking, right, from the ticket dispensers. So we have to update along with the technology. We have a lot of updations going on. So we being into parking management systems, guidance, and as well as operations, we are working on Wi-Fi based, giving proper guidance to the customers who's coming inside the parking space. So it's ease of parking space. They can easily park their vehicles without hassle-free. And as we are talking about new age developments, we have these applications where the customers can pre-book their slots in the parking areas. They can decide how do they want to plan the day. Because customers nowadays, from 1 hour to they can spend even 10 hours, because malls have been this social destination, as you say, right? Right from your hairstyle salons, your laughter theaters, and movies, cinemas, and also maybe upcoming years, so we shall also have co-working spaces where people can start working there. New offices, small startups can come up where entertainment zones, everything. So all in all, lastly, when we connect to parking, so parking should be one of the major concerns to the mall management, to the retailers, where we are providing much more, like EV charging points. A lot of malls are coming up with that now newly, and also how well your parking operation team is being trained. We are giving our employees fire safety management training as well to take care, how things can work out. And we are going to give a clear-cut, whatever your transactions are, or probably your analytics complete. We can give you entire detailed in our application, so you can get to know what's the footfall inside the parking management. So you can, when comparing to the revenue of the mall or the rush, the flow inside the mall, you can get to know only in the parking itself. So as soon as, this is all connected on cloud, what we are doing. So right from ANPR or any other solutions that we are creating. So as soon as the customer enters the parking space, there is a plus point added on the applications. You can know the number of people entering, the footfall as well as the carbon prints. So according to that, you can handle your manpower in the mall as well as entry and exits. So you can also get to know about your revenues, monthly end to end. So we can develop that way. So we can utilize more of technology in this sector.
Interesting. I think we spoke a lot that developers are doing a lot, leasing team is doing a lot, operations team is doing a lot. We have two great brands who are over here. Manuji, to you, I would like to really understand what has been the store experience, the way your brand or you foresee the retailers have evolved over a period of age, and what is the new thing you guys are adopting for a real consumer experience?
Good evening, everybody. Right, there are only three places where anybody can buy garment, three options he has. One is e-commerce, high street, and malls. Now, the customer has to choose where he has to go. Obviously, in the e-commerce, the biggest advantage is you can pick up 6 items and return 3 or 4 or all 6. You can't really do that in a mall or a high street. The biggest advantage in the high street and the mall is the touch and feel, and the salesman who explains to you what will suit the characteristics of the garment, what will suit you, what goes well, washing instructions, everything is explained to you in either a high street or mall. Now the big difference, what we find more and more people are moving toward malls simply because of the convenience of malls. Convenience, safety, clean washrooms, when they get hungry, they have a bite, there's something for the kids to do, and there is so much to do there in a lot of high streets. And a big advantage in the malls is the zoning. Let's say if you're going to Linking Road, you want to pick up a salwar kameez, Biba is one side, Global Desi is another side, and you have W far away. It's very difficult to park your car and keep moving, and so this is a big advantage. Of course, safety, cleanness, all these things. And it's a composite package. The husband wants to buy a shirt, the wife wants to buy a sari, kids want to play some games, popcorn, food, the whole package. So what we find is mall business is slowly replacing high streets. Of course, there are certain high streets which, like Commercial Street, you have about 120 ladies ethnic stores, which will never happen in a mall. In a mall, you will have 5, 6, but the advantage is when all of them are next to each other, there is sufficient choice for the customer. And what we find is that a lot of, on a rainy day, right, a lot of customers who would otherwise come to our high street stores just go to the malls, and when they find it's so much easier and so much convenient, next time they say, let's go to the mall. So I think slowly the culture of malls is setting in. In fact, Soch started our first store in the Koramangala Mall, and currently about 60% of our stores are in malls, 50% are in high street. What we find is a huge convenience and attraction for the customers is these new strip malls. We have one in Vijayawada, where you have about 15 stores and sufficient parking. Again, the customer has a choice. There's a mall, PVP mall just opposite, and you have the strip mall, and then you have this unorganized high street where it's difficult to even get a parking space. So a lot of customers would just park in the strip mall and walk across to the stores. But I think this is the thing of the future, especially in tier 3 cities. 15, 20 brands, get them together, maybe 30 of them, have a strip mall. There's no, maybe one small restaurant or something, and you don't need a cinema, sufficient parking, clean washrooms. I think this is going to be the future, especially in tier 3.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Manoj. Rajeev ji, to you, I think you come in from an experiential side of retail, natural salons. What do you foresee have been the trend in last 5 years, and what do you really, if I have to give you a glazing ball, how do you see services will evolve in the next 5 years or a decade?
Good evening, everybody. So we are in the beauty space, and beauty space means there are products and then there are services. Since your question was particularly on the service side, on the salon side, I think the whole ecosystem has evolved quite dramatically. There used to be a time 10, 12, 13 years ago when mall operators were very reluctant to kind of have us in the malls, and they would allot a back of beyond space, and obviously for reasons we still don't understand now, but even though the model of malls itself came from, was obviously mature outside the country, and the Tony and guys and the other brands were always there outside, but somehow the mall developers didn't see us in the same light. But today, there are obviously the new age malls have a salon in every floor, so to speak, and they're asking us how are we going to differentiate even in those floors, for example. So if they had a specific theme in that floor, they would ask us whether that fits in with our brand ethos. So things have dramatically changed, and I would think to answer your second part of your question, so there are a lot of differentiation which the mall developers are bringing into their product, and while we also kind of try and match to their requirement, but it is not always possible. So there are 2-3 things which mall developers actually need to understand about the service business, more particularly about the salon and spa business. One is that we are a high engagement and an intimate kind of engagement business. So obviously, you'll have to wait, you'll have to take an appointment. So only 10, if it's a 10-seater, then 15-seater, we can only take so many people. So it's not like, everyone comes in and everyone gets a service. And so there is this one. Secondly, our ticket sizes are a little higher, obviously. And third is that our engagement time of engagement, or the throughput is little extended. So there could be a hair service for a woman, which could take 4 hours, 5 hours. And she would be very happy sitting there the whole day in the mall. But I'm not too sure what the developers think of that.
Okay, interesting. I think great views. We also have a very interesting concept coming across by none other than Bhoomi World. Prakash Bhai, to make you aware, Prakash Bhai is building more than 1 million square feet of outlet mall just outside of Mumbai. We're talking about consumer experience innovating, right? I think outlet mall in India, I think they are very far and few, unlike we go abroad. So what have been your thinking when you're designing an outlet mall in terms of your cost spending per square feet on a mall built-up basis, and any other additional thing you're really thinking for consumer experiences? So if you can share your views, sir.
So basically, good evening. So basically, the thought process was to give a value proposition product to the consumer, and the new catchment who are not buying brands till now, but they have capacity to buy, they have financial good capacity to buy the product, and we want to explore them to the new commercial space. In Bhiwandi, we have 18 lakh people staying there, and doesn't have the mall or shopping center or multiplex, nowhere. They have to go far from 20 kilometers to other space. And first was the catchment. Second was when we also go to London and go to Oxford Street, we just roam around Oxford Street, but we usually buy things from Bicester village only by having driving of 1.5 hours to city from outside the city. And because we have money, but our Indian mindset is to have the value proposition. Why not to travel, or why not to go to space where we can have a good discount on the product which is coming into city. Second thing, the development cost which you told. In Bombay, it is very much high in land area. If you say premium cost, in BMC, they charge 6 to 7,000 rupees a square feet to have only the plan approvals. Here in our area, it is only 50 to 60 rupees. We have very much lesser land cost compared to the cities. And we want to pass all this cost to the end consumer. So brand is also giving their discounts to the consumer, and we are also giving space to the minimal price for the retailer to pass on the if he is paying 1,000 rupees a square feet in car linking road, he is taking that 1,000 rupees from the consumer. If he is paying the 200 or 150 or 100 rupees a square feet in outlet, he is going to charge as per the 100 or 200 rupees a square feet. So he is going to pass on that discount, and where we, developer and the brand, we both are passing discount and giving good discounted rate particular to the consumer, where consumer is benefiting and we are getting good sales. Like one shoe people, like a shoe brand, having sales in Linking Road by giving 1,000 rupees square feet, 50 lakh rupees. And the same person selling the same product in Dahisar, in outlet mall, almost 2.5 crore rupees monthly sale by paying only 200 rupees a rent. So ultimately, new consumer is coming, the consumer is very, so we are also diverting people from e-commerce to the outlet by giving them the value proposition of the product. And the thing is, we are making a larger market. Like before, you see in Bombay, the brand is always in Kolaba, Lower Parel and everywhere. The brand was not in Thane. Zara reluctant to come to Thane before he came to Bombay. Now he came because he got the market, and he got the people who is willing to pay what Zara is asking for. That's how the market is growing, maturing. It is like boundaries going bigger. Mumbai is becoming MMR region, where Bhiwandi, Thane, Kalyan, Dombivli, all people are going to have the good market in the city. And we are having not only outlet for the outside city, we are catching that catchment area which is new for the market.
And I think you also mentioned you building a cinema.
So right? we are making 3-4 markets. One is factory outlet. The another we are making furniture market. So if you see in Bombay, if you want a discounted furniture market, you have to come to Bhiwandi, which is almost 25 acres already made and successfully is running. We are making 45 acres of space retail for the furniture, furnishing, all the interior product side. We are making one more market for retail and wholesale market, which is having space of 100 or 125 square feet of a unit, which will be having 8,000 unit in a building, like a platinum market in Bangkok. So that's how we are making a mature market there. And because of the Samruddhi Express highway is going on, government is pushing hard for the infrastructure. Government is putting money in the cities to grow the cities. Bombay is having good metro line. Next 2-3 years, you will be feeling good in Bombay. By travel time will be less. To come from Kolaba to Bhiwandi, it will take 1 hour. So this is how the Bombay is also the government is also pushing hard in the infrastructure and giving bullet train. We are first in India where we are coming up with the Thane to Bhiwandi ropeway. It is coming first time in India. Second is in Nagpur, it is coming. for the 23 kilometers from Thane Viviana Mall to Vadpanaka. So that's how the government is also thinking ahead than the what previously it was.
Great. Prasad, do you want to add something?
Rohit, I think all of us spoke about how the new age mall should be for the new age customer, right? I think Manoj briefly also spoke about simultaneous events happening. It's not the fact that because the marketing and the leasing guy desires to have a comedy center or a play and learn center, a developer is okay for it. I think what deep down, if we sort of look at it, every new format that is going to be different from the traditional format, there are going to be hard questions asked. There is going to be a P&L, right? So when we ask, say, for an amphitheater, it's not just that that space is given to you, go and do events. That place which is given to you has to have its own P&L, right? A lot of malls are doing loyalty programs. For those who do, they know the liability sits huge, right? Because as much as loyalty program sounds great, you're giving them points for whatever they're buying, and you need to give them redemption options. Malls are running out of redemption options. Genuinely. I mean, how much of gift vouchers are you going to furnish every month, month on month, and just keep giving customers? I think that's where things like these formats are making some sense, where you're saying, you know what, I'm going to offload the points. So it's not an escape, or it's not something that you say that, we have to become social destinations, and because of that, I need a 30,000 square feet courtyard. That 30,000 square feet courtyard is a P&L of its own, whether you make income through ticketed events, through SOH, whichever alternate revenues are. So you're not running away from it.
Interesting. Truly a developer's thinking. Few more points I'd like to throw it open. Any one of you can pick it up. Because we're also talking about innovating lifestyle and social destination. One of the key things I wonder always, why do we have, so I think somebody touched upon that the trends and the consumer behavior and millennials are changing every 2 years, 3 years. So why do we have a lever license for 5 years? Can we relook at it? Anyone can pick it up.
See, I think in western part of India, it happens leave and license for 5 years. But let's say if I talk about the NCR region, there is a lease which happens and which can go up to n number of things. So from a developer point of view, we definitely want to keep our shopping centers relevant. That's the main point. That's the agenda, and that's for consumers. So retailers should also understand the idea behind doing shorter leases is to make our shopping centers relevant. It's not a mandatory thing that we have to do 5 years. If you are relevant, we are happy to do 20-year lease. Right? It's the question to a retailer. So it's a joint effort of a retailer and a developer. Both have to be relevant in their own domain. Yeah, that's what. Okay.
Just to add here, we talked about being relevant and why we need a 5-year term. So what we've done, I think most of developers have done, we've added 2 clauses in the agreement. One is about the performance clause. So although your lease term is let's say 5 years, but if you don't achieve a particular amount of TD for a complete financial year, we can come on board and discuss about how we can take this forward and all that. Second is about renovation clause. Also we keep now. So every 3 years you have to renovate the store. So without reducing the overall term, somehow we have cushioned ourselves with these 2 clauses now.
No, interesting. I think yes, renovation, term of lease.
Just need to add, like we have Manohar here, we have Rajeev. So the question is also that nowadays, I don't see any retailer is just opening shops just for the sake of it, right? So I think as a developer, we are pretty secure. Like they will do equal amount of efforts to make their own spaces relevant. Right. So I think tenure is not a question anymore, what I think.
Right. So with tenure, I would like to also extend, Manojji, Rajeevji, any one of you can also answer, it's open. Can we also say in India, retail typically has, in terms of the rental model as MG or revenue share, right? Can we also introduce something different angle Like, I don't know, whatever comes to your mind, maybe from the Western world, there are concept of profit sharing, there is concept of charging retailer basis the footfall, which will work in your favor, or so on and so forth. I don't know. Should we also innovate on that lines as well?
Oh, basically, when they say 5-year term, you have to really have decent sales to cover your cost of capex in that 5 years. And most of the malls, if you're doing well, they don't want to leave you. So the 5-year term is more like a safeguard for the mall. They don't want a brand which is not performing. So they will have a natural churn. At the end of 5 years, you don't perform, probably the mall will ask you to leave. It may be still, there are brands who are doing this just for branding, or they want to go, they want to sell the company or public, or so many outlets. There are various reasons why the brand wants to be in that mall. But the mall will look after its own interest, and they want the best performing brands to stay. So we've never seen any difficulty in renewing our leases. I don't think there's a single mall which said we don't want to renew your lease. And I think 5 years is a decent enough term. And renovation also we keep doing, except during COVID. So it's basically a win-win.
Yeah.
And with the high rentals in the mall, if you don't perform anyway, I don't think you want to be there.
Okay, great. I think we're running out of time, but we had a great session. I'll just take 1 more minute. What I'll go across the table from here till there, or from there to here, from here to there, all right? I would want you to answer in one word, which is that one category each one of you would like to see in the malls, which is not present in the mall in today's age. One category.
As a differentiator?
Yep.
Well, I think coming from the space that I am in, one would like to have some kind of a amphitheater or a place where one can do workshops, activities, education kind of based activities, which I think there is a lot of takers for, and but somehow that is not, has come.
Open air activities.
Yeah, more or less on the same lines, because in Bombay, there's no space. So if we create that kind of a space, that's when everybody will want to come in.
One category. Yes. Which is that category?
Sports.
Sports,
because that is something which is
interesting.
Missing.
Yeah. Manu sir?
Rohit, I think they've thought of everything. It's all there.
Okay. Prasad?
I think I would go for a category that is something that in the future is going to make sense, is the D2C brands.
D2C brands.
There has to be a space in the mall which experiments the D2C offline to online format in like a hybrid model that should be.
D2C brands. Okay. Manoj?
So when we talk about mall being a social place, so see, art, culture, music is an integral part of our culture. So somehow we should have a dedicated space for celebrating these
art and culture.
Yeah, art and culture.
Okay.
Plus, also about health. So it's
one category. Art, health, both.
Health and sports, right?
Okay. Sports, health, art. Great.
I think most of the categories are covered, but what I was suggest that we should increase the percentage of F&B in all malls.
Okay.
I think that's what the
I think
best
all
driver.
of us are doing that. Yeah. Right. Ashish?
Probably a pet crash in the outside open area,
pet.
Wherein you can put in your pet and then you go out shopping in the mall.
Pet crash,
so
different from a pet store and a pet spa. Pet crash.
Pet
okay,
crash,
interesting. Apart from car parking?
Yeah, of course, apart from car parking, but car parking also is very important. But coming on to the point, I think co-working spaces, as the new generation, we would like to work in a cool environment and also attend meetings. We already have a lot of meetings, amphitheaters as upcoming new malls are, evolving. So I think co-working space.
I think we should have wedding banquet halls.
Sorry?
Wedding banquet halls.
Wedding banquet halls. Okay.
Each mall. So it creates the large number of people to come there.
Okay.
And it creates the memory.
Chalo. Great. Thank you. Thank you. With that, we've concluded the session. Thank you very much. Thanks all of you.